Join the chat. Let's start the show.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Oh my gosh, I love your intro. It's so hype. I'm like, hello.
Thank you. Good afternoon, world. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the Happy Hour Show with Lindsey Vertner and my beautiful guest, Miss Nicole Walters, who I'm going to tell you all about in just a moment. But if you are new to the show and have no clue who I am, my name is Lindsey Vertner. I'm a peak potential strategist and transformational speaker. I teach female entrepreneurs and ambitious leaders how to master their mindset and increase their self-care, self-worth, and self-discipline. But enough about me, because I'm super excited for our guest on today's exclusive airing of the Happy Hour Show, Miss Nicole Walters. She has worked as a client-facing business executive for many Fortune 500 companies in both sales and marketing for over 10 years. And after leaving the corporate world, y'all, she quit live. She established the Monetized Life, a corporate consulting firm providing business and financial solutions to everyday entrepreneurs. And in just 4 years, she has scaled to a multi-seven-figure corporation and employs over 15 people. And y'all know that just makes my heart so happy. She's been seen on Forbes, Good Morning America, The Today Show, and more with the top podcast. And today she is here with us on the Happy Hour Show and ready to chat with you. So she's business savvy, she's entertaining, she's philanthropic, and y'all, she's here. Welcome, Miss Nicole Walters.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for agreeing to come on the show and then spending this time with us. So we are excited to have you. And I know I just ran through some of your accolades, which you have way more than that. But tell us, who is Nicole? Who are you behind the scenes?
Sure. I mean, I always like to start off with, I'm a mom. I have 3 amazing girls that I adopted. So I have an 8-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 21-year-old. I am married. I've been married now for 11 years. And I also am a functional hot mess, meaning at any given time, I am barely keeping it together in my real life, but I understand business. So that is like my purpose, my calling, and it allows me to help people and serve them so that they can serve others well.
Nice. A functional hot mess. And I just think that goes to show like just how authentic you are and how real you are. Like
I'm trying.
They struggle with being who they truly are or showing like the bad side of things. And not to say that things are bad, but you know, the real side of things.
Real side of things. It's not all roses, right? Yes, it's not all roses. So the real side is true.
Yes. So have you ever had a time where you were like this prim and polished, where you didn't want to show the real, the raw? Has that ever been a moment in your life? And how?
No, honestly, I'm going to be completely candid. So when I started showing up on social media, I didn't even realize how much of a mess I was until other people started verifying it. Like I literally was like, I thought everybody was like this. You know what I mean? So I literally was like, oh, okay. Like, yes, my kid just went streaking across the back of the screen while I'm live. That's normal, right? Like, isn't that everyone's house? And then once I received, that confirmation, like, yeah, no, our lives are all crazy. I was like, oh, so it's okay to show up like this. And I guess I'll just stick with it.
Yes, I think there is so much power in being authentic because so many times, especially as women, we try to hide the things that we're going through for fear of being judged or what society will say. And so we hold it in and then we end up suffering, silently suffering. And if we would just let it out, we would realize our neighbor Susie is feeling the exact same way.
Yes, no, absolutely. It's freeing, especially in the world of business and entrepreneurship. And when you're looking to set up these goals, there's so many appearances, right, of people saying that they have it all together. Like everything's pretty on social because we get a chance to edit and filter it. But the reality is it doesn't look like that in our real life. And sometimes it sets an unrealistic bar where you feel like, oh my gosh, if this person, in order for me to get to here, I have to look like this. And I take a lot of joy in being my regular hot mess self so that people don't feel like that's required. So I'm all for it.
I love it. I love it. And that's one of the things that attracted me to you because you do keep it real and raw and you're funny and entertaining.
Oh
and
my gosh.
I'm all about happiness and authenticness. And so I just love it. Over here in the comments, let's see. Tanya says, your blogger, TVMA, the T here. I'm so excited to attend the happy hour talks with Lindsey as she gets the tea with Nicole Walters. Erica says, hello, beautiful ladies. Thank you for tuning in. We have watching all the way from Kolkata, India. Thanks for tuning in. Look, they're already loving you. And we just get Araya says, yes, yes. If you're just tuning in, make sure you post your question and comments down below. Miss Nicole is going to get a chance to answer your questions later on in the show. And remember, this is a conversation between all of us, not just us two. So post your comments down there. Let us know you're here and let's chat. So I know that you did not always grow up with this big $1 million bank account, right?
Absolutely.
So, tell us about that background. How was your upbringing? How was it to get from there, where you started as a kid, to overcoming all of the obstacles, which we'll get into some of those, to being this multi-7-figure businesswoman that is taking over the world?
Wow. So I'm taking over the world. My goodness. So I did grow up humbly. Both of my parents are African immigrants. They, came to the U.S. after a lot of hard work, and they became citizens, soon thereafter. And, but I was born here. So I do have that sort of immigrant hard work, value. And they were big on me capitalizing on the American dream. So when I came here, they told me right out of the gate, you can have your name on the side of an office building or you can grow up cleaning one, and they weren't saying that to diminish, old school hard work, but they're saying, look, that's what we come from. And we're hoping that we can see an easier life for you, So I've always had that sort of push to leverage my work ethic as my differentiator. So oftentimes we feel like we have to, be prettier than the next person or taller or fancier or smarter or more capable or get there first. And, all of those things are bred from a place of scarcity. And the reality is, the one thing that people can't beat you on is your work ethic, and you have that in spades, and you can turn it on or turn it off when you're ready. And that's really the thing that got me from where I was to where I am. And of course, along the way, I had to battle things like imposter syndrome, just the concept that I don't deserve what's in front of me or that I didn't earn what showed up, and I had to battle things like just general negativity, because when you come from an environment where everyone around you may not have gotten to the place where you are based on their own choices, sometimes they'll try to speak into you, and they're not speaking life into you. They're saying things like, you don't deserve it, or, oh, you've changed, or what is this, and just really knowing how to shake all those things off and just keep myself eagle-eyed focused on, what God has called me to do. And that, is a daily challenge, but it's a huge part of, where I am today. So I'm excited to say that I built this business and am building this business, right? The finish line is, constantly moving, but, it has taken work over the years, but the foundation, that I received growing up is where it all started.
Yes, yes. Over here in the comments, Tanya says, I love Nicole's story, and especially how she's in her native language fussing at the kids. Every time. I love Lindsey Vertner's story too, and her drive speaks volume. Thank you. Keep going, Lindsey, to the top.
Yes, thank you.
Amen, Raya says. I love that you brought up imposter syndrome because I have a lot of clients that are dealing with that now, where they're having these good things happen to them and they've been kind of scared to share the magazine
Yeah.
that or share their story because they're feeling like, do I really deserve this? And so I'm trying to get through to them like your purpose is great.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
reason you're here is to make an impact with people. And I noticed in one of your social media posts that you mentioned about someone is continuing to suffer when you don't share your story.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's true.
Wins. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I mean, like when it comes to sharing your wins, I mean, I'm a God girl. So for me, they're not just my wins. So for me to not share them means that I'm denying giving glory to the person who gave them to me, which is God. So it's one of those things where it's like, I have to, share them if for nothing else, but to publicly give credit to Jesus for what he's doing in my life privately. So that's the first reason why I share it, and then the second reason, not just from a faith-based perspective, but from a purpose-based perspective is that, everything that has happened in our life, the difficulties, the struggles, the hardships, all of those 100%, happen for a reason, and, once we make our way through those, once we have those answers, the things we can't take with us when we leave, the foundation of our legacy is leaving those answers behind so that someone else doesn't have to struggle the way that you did. So it's really important when you have those wins to be able to say, look, signal, things do work. I can overcome, answers and joy. It occurs. People are still winning, particularly in this economy. Like I find a lot of people right now, based on what's happening in the world, feeling like they can't say anything good because so many people have it so hard. But you've got to understand that people need to be reminded that like God is still working, that people are still winning, that money is still being made, that successes are still happening. Like we need to see all of that to counteract all the doom and gloom, that's happening in the world, because that's the very thing that feeds, the most essential part of anything that's created, and that's hope.
Yes. Did y'all hear that? Dropping gems already. I say all the time that your story is someone else's breakthrough. You are the answer to someone else's prayer. And if you are listening to me, please listen from Miss Nicole.
Yeah, sometimes they have to hear it from auntie, right? Y'all don't want to hear it from mom. You don't want to hear it from mama, so you got to hear it from auntie. So I received that.
It is so important. So what would you say is a piece of advice that you could give to overcome that imposter syndrome?
So, I mean, I know that for me, it sounds kind of cheesy, but I keep a list of my wins and I regularly revisit it, because it's very easy for us to not want to share those wins or to discount things that we've done, or in the moments that are down points, to be in our head about it, to say to ourselves, oh my gosh, like I didn't get the results that I wanted, or man, this always happens. And then when you open up that list of wins and you look at it and you're like, oh, actually, I've done a lot to get where I am today, So like for me, whenever it comes up on a new launch or whenever I'm doing something new for the business, I'll look at this list of wins and I'll say, oh, well, yeah, you were able to set up, your website, or you were able to figure this piece out, or, all these different things. Once you really start measuring it and keeping track of it, you realize that nothing that you have, you got by accident, that there was consistent, regular hard work that made it happen, So I think that that's one of the biggest battles, imposter syndrome. And then, of course, having people around you to remind you. My husband is, regularly holding up a mirror and showing me who I actually am, despite what I may think or feel. You know what I mean? So that's a big part too. Your company you keep can really be your fuel to your fire.
Yes. Be mindful of the energy and environment that you are putting yourself in. So if you are surrounded by negativity, figure out ways to get out of that negativity and find those people that lift you up.
100%. So huge.
So it sounds like your parents were pretty supportive of your dreams.
No, whoa. Pump the brakes. Is that what it sounds like? I was like, we got to recalibrate this. My parents are very African and they were very not supportive. Like they absolutely were like, oh, even now they're like, you are still young. You can be a doctor. It's okay. The medical school's only 4 years. Yeah, you can do this one also, and I'm like, Mom, like literally it would not make sense for me to even do that. Like like, what do people, that's not my purpose. Like at this point, I would only go into medicine if it was a calling, like not for the financial stability, not for the structure, not for any of that. My parents all day, they're like, you know, you can also do law. You know, many people are also lawyer, you know, they entrepreneur and lawyer. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. So yeah, no, they're supportive as in like when people aren't around, when I'm not around, they're telling all their friends, you know, my daughter is like Oprah, you know, my daughter has TV show. Like this is when I'm not there, but to my face, right? When talking to me, it's comma, you have time still. Give me more grandchildren, you know? So yeah, God bless them. God bless them. I love them, but God bless them.
So funny because, you know, and I think that just goes to show about being authentic because from the outside looking in, when you talk about like your parents supporting your hard work and pushing you to be great,
yeah,
it seems
their definition of great though, their definition, right? Their definition.
I love that you pointed that out because oftentimes you have to ask yourself, whose definition am I living up to? Someone else's or mine? And I think that's where that comes in as far as the imposter syndrome, as far as not feeling good enough. I know that's a big one for entrepreneurs. Can you dive a little deeper into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I don't know where it comes from, but I do think some of it may be, you know, it's the PTSD of poverty, right? So a lot of us think that just because, you know, things may change for you financially or things may change for you opportunity wise, that we leave behind the generational imprint of growing up in poverty. But that generational imprint truly is within us and up to us to change. So like my kids, you know, I'm seeking to change that in my conversation, how I interact with them in their mindset, because if not, it doesn't matter if I've changed their experience and the way the world looks around them, because they can still carry that that generational imprint of poverty. So it's you know, it's something that we can change right now, where we say to them, no, you're deserving, you should have nice things, you are worthy of pursuing your purpose. Like you don't have to put your purpose and your joy secondary, and your health and your well-being and your mindset, you know, we don't have to put all of that secondary to gainful employment, you know. And I think that, you know, one of the things that some of our wealthier peers have is the luxury. It's a real privilege to be able to say, you know, I only want to focus on what I love, right? Like that is, you know, one of the biggest things. It's an unspoken privilege that comes with financial wealth, is that you are focusing on what you love. But we have to recognize that that's a privilege we can reclaim. And it's the number one thing we can counteract to make sure that we aren't carrying the trauma of growing up in poverty into our decisions and into our future.
Yes, yes. So true. If you are just tuning in, you are watching the Happy Hour Show with Lindsey Vertner and my lovely guest, Miss Nicole Walters. She is a business strategist and CEO of NAPNIC. Make sure you are posting your questions and comments down below. Share this video out, because if it's helpful for you, it's helpful for your friends too. Over here in the comments, Miss Tanya says, why are our parents like this? My mom was scared to death. I wanted to buy a franchise. We have to change the culture. Keisha says, love this. That's right. That definition is everything. PTSD of poverty is real. That's good. And I think that it is so important, especially in the Black community, to understand our money mindsets around poverty and around wealth and luxury. Because I was just talking the other day about how we are often made to feel like when we have nice things and luxurious things that, oh, we had to scheme and scam to get it.
Or we're showing off, or that we think we're better than, you know, and it's all these concepts where it's like, why do I think I'm better than? I feel like literally every single Black person, considering just what we've been through and continue to go through, we are deserving. Do you know what I mean? Like we wake up worthy despite whatever it is that anyone tries to say about who we are, where we come from. So, you know, when I see another person who looks like me ascending to a certain level, all that means is that it's possible. It's just one more, you know, tick in the line of, yes, we are supposed to be here. Yes, we are deserving. And this is where we're supposed to be. So it's a really big deal, that we don't affirm that type of language about around showing off and all that. We need to say, no, she's not showing off. She earned it, and if she can do it, I can too. It's that scarcity mindset that there's only so much. And, that has historical roots that go really far back, where companies did only hire one or two Black people, or companies did only hire somebody of a fairer shade, affirming colorism. And we have got to get away from allowing that to be continued in society, where we think that there's only ever one or two Black people that are permitted in a space. No, if someone busted down that door, that means that door is now wide open, and I'm marching in and I'm bringing my girls and we're all going, and here we go. This is the table. And it's not just about building our own tables. It's about demanding our seat and our place at these other tables, so it's a really big deal. And frankly, within ourselves, not allowing language around showing off or, acting too big, not allowing language to alter how we're going to receive and promote our wins. We really truly need to say to ourselves, if other people are uncomfortable with seeing me win, that is their problem, not mine.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That is so important. It's all in our mindset. Y'all know I love me some mindset work. She was just about to say that people will think that you're showing off when you post your wins, but it's not. It's letting people know that you have a story and it's worth sharing. We have to change that mindset.
Absolutely.
It is so true, because when we share our wins, like Nicole said, we are letting other people know that it's possible. You have to be worthy and understand that you deserve everything that you desire, and you're fully capable of achieving that as long as you are focused on the right things.
Yes, absolutely. And also, I think that what happens is, it's so easy for us to feel like they're jealous, and absolutely some of them are jealous, but I think that we forget that sometimes people want to dismantle our wins because they just can't understand that or sit in the discomfort of recognizing that there are people out there winning. Like, be honest, when they're watching someone out there win, all you're doing is you're counteracting their excuses around why they can't. And it's just too uncomfortable. They have to dismantle it. They have to be able to say, oh, well, you won, but this was different for you. Oh, well, you won, but it's because of blank. Or, oh, well, you won, but it must be a scam, a hustle, a this. Or there's always something that they want to dismantle, because if I'm not dismantling and criticizing that win, then I have to acknowledge that it was possible for me too. Then I have to acknowledge that, is it possible that someone is actually out there who is good and does well and has integrity and their money is not ill-gotten, and that they just showed up, that they decided? Because if so, then that means that the possibility exists for me too. And I can't, every day that I stay in the life that I'm in, I'm accepting that I've done this myself. And so positioning myself as a victim is far easier than it is for me to acknowledge the successes of others, but it's that acknowledgement that is the true, legitimate hard work that leads to greatness.
Yes. Hashtag yes in the comments if you are feeling Miss Nicole. Everything she just said is all truth. Keisha says, sit in your seat of consciousness.
Yes.
As they are jealous. Win. One thing to keep in mind is that sometimes people can only support you for as high as they've taken themselves.
That's right.
And for some people, that's not very high, right?
You may need new friends. You may need to get you some new friends.
Get you a rich friend.
Yes, I support that.
Yes, Nicole's big thing is hashtag rich friend. And I love that she says that, because she's not necessarily talking about how much money is in your bank account.
Right.
Talking about the quality of your life, the quality of your friends. And y'all know that is right in line with first class life, which is not about how much money you have in your bank, but about creating intentional happiness in every moment that you can, walking fully in your purpose, being authentic, which is why she was a great fit for the show.
I love it. Yes. We're all rich in so many ways, right? We're rich in our family and our values and our purpose and our potential. I mean, so these are the true wealthy things that just add up to being rich in your bank account. So I want friends who are rich in that capacity. We can all have rich friends and we all need rich friends, so I'm here for it.
Mhm. If you're just tuning in, make sure you post your questions and comments down below. Nicole is going to answer those later on in the show, and we are having a great time chatting with you on the Happy Hour show. So share this video out. Let us know you're here. Keep the conversation going. But right now, I think that it would be a great time to find out
What's in your cup?
it is that time of the show. Post in the comments what you're sipping on at home. Whether it has some special ingredient is up to you, and that's your business, okay? But this is the part of the show where we find out what our guest is sipping on in her cup. And after you tell us what you're drinking, give your cup some cup cam and share it with us.
Okay, so what I've got today is I'm actually filming. So I have a TV show that is going to be on USA Network called Instant Family, and it's following me as like a business owner and a mom and all that good stuff. And we are getting back to filming this weekend again, right? So we're doing a lot of filming, and so I need to cut weight. These COVID pounds, listen, I've been sitting out here just living my best life, eating. I have not met a carb that I do not love. Okay. So like it has not been a good situation. So all the sweet tea is gone. And now I am drinking a Crystal Light strawberry lemonade, right? So this is sugar-free. This is all the extra junk free. That's what's in my cup. And I'm obsessed with these $5 reusable cups from Starbucks. Like I'm obsessed with them. So yeah, this is what's in my cup.
Nice. Let's see what our viewers are drinking. Keisha is drinking a Kai latte. Yes. Good afternoon, ladies. Hey, D. Thanks for tuning in. Let us know what you're drinking down below.
Yes. Yum,
Look,
yum, yum.
it's all for your drink. So today, up here in the Midwest, fall came in with a vengeance, right? So it pulled a Kanye and was like, I'm gonna let you finish, but fall is the true season. From hot to super cold, and it was chilly. I mean, we turned off the air, and it's still cold in the house. So I actually have some hot chocolate that I put in my Jet Beauty of the Week cup.
I love it. Oh my gosh, that's perfect. Yeah, I had a hot cup of tea this morning because it was raining and storming, and this weather's been crazy. So, and then Dr. Jackie's out here being fancy. Dr. Jackie's like, I'm drinking water because Dr. Jackie's gonna live forever. The rest of us over here, like, we got cups of sugar. Dr. Jackie's over here, like, listen, y'all, you come into my sessions asking me, what do I need to stay healthy? Thank you, Dr. Jackie.
Yes,
I'm here showing off, keeping us alive, challenging us to greatness. I love it.
So true. And she is drinking chia tea with honey. Oh wait, was that Kai tea, chia tea, whichever one?
Mm-hmm.
It was a cappuccino, but I drank it all 3 hours ago.
Oh, you're gonna be up.
And EJ, the travel diva, is also drinking Crystal Light.
Ooh, cheers! Clink, 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 clink.
And D is drinking Mountain Dew, so you're gonna be wired as well.
Absolutely, that stuff is sugar in a tank, but it will keep you going. If you've got things to do today, you are ready.
Yes. So let's get back. You mentioned your TV show, and I'm glad you brought that up because we definitely want to dive into that. Mm-hmm. I know you mentioned your mom was like, oh, my daughter is Oprah.
Yes.
So tell us about your TV show. How did it come about? How are you feeling? When does it air? Let us know all of it so we can support it.
Oh, I love it. So I will definitely tell you everything I can tell you, right? But super excited about the show. It's actually been in production now for almost 4 years. So that's the piece that a lot of people don't know is like TV takes a really long time from the first time that they show up and say, hey, we're interested all the way to the point where something actually hits the air. So we've signed the deal over a year ago with USA Network, and we're really excited because they're a subsidiary of NBC Universal, which means you'll see us they're the number one major cable network as well. So really excited about that. I'm also the first Black female to be a lead on a USA Network show in like their 72-year history. So that's really exciting also. So the family's going to be on the show as well. So it's really just following and saying, hey, Nicole Walters is this businesswoman, who has this following and this brand and this employees and an office and all these things, but she also has this crazy kooky family that does not take her seriously. Is totally unfazed by everything she does, and and a crazy assistant, and just all these different dimensions to the whole life. So you'll get to see a little bit of business, you get to see a whole lot of family, you'll get to see me trying to manage and juggle and balance it all. And it's going to be great. And I'm really excited about it. We've been filming for a while now, and you should see it, in the next couple months. We should hit the air because we just wrapped up principal photography and filming. So you'll see that very soon.
Nice. Listen, y'all, make sure that you support this show, Instant Family, right? On USA Network. We are going to be staying tuned for all the details, and we are going to watch it and support you and cheer you on.
I love it. Thank you.
Cheyenne says, congratulations. Tanya says, congrats.
Thanks, guys.
Everyone is congratulating you. This is fabulous news. Araya says, wow, goals.
Thank you, guys.
We are happy for you. So what are some of the obstacles that you would say you had to overcome with starting from a place of poverty to getting to where you are today as this multi-seven-figure businesswoman? You have your own TV show, and essentially you are influencing the people.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. You're so kind. No, I would think that one of the biggest obstacles I had to deal with is this thing called upper limit syndrome. So, it's something I'm dealing with now. We hear a lot about imposter syndrome, but upper limit syndrome is kind of the other side of it, right? So, imposter syndrome may be the ugly thing on your back that you kind of have to carry with you as you are doing your day-to-day. And that may lead to like procrastination, things like that. But upper limit syndrome is actually the thing that happens when you actually hit those goals. So you hit the goals, or you hit a new milestone, or you hit a new place, and upper limit syndrome can manifest even like physiologically. Your body may actually start feeling physically sick, or headaches, or whatever else, like because you're at the brink of a new chapter, and it's interesting because, going into something new, whether it's signing the lease on a new office space, or, going into my meeting with my accountant every year. Like, so I have a meeting, this is a great example. I have a meeting, and I say this because I just finished, wrapping up my taxes for 2019. So I'm sending all that stuff in, and I was looking at our numbers, and our, gross profit percentage in 2018 was 99.9%, which is like ridiculous, right? And then this in 2019 it was 83%. So we went down, but which is still a ridiculously good number, but we went down because, I got employees, I got an office space, I got, so it went down, but we grew, right? And obviously our general profit went up, so I'm looking at this, and I'm getting ready to have this meeting with my accountant, which we do, annually when we're going over these things, right? And I'm like, I felt winded. I was like, I'm having like we're about to go in here and talk about these numbers. And I realized, what we talked about earlier, some of that PTSD of poverty, my brain was actually trying to process, like these numbers, you know what I mean? Like, and just like, and if this is what I did then what does this mean for what's next? And, these are bigger numbers that my brain could ever wrap around. And I didn't think this would be my future. And, it's just really trying to absorb sort of being limited to what I think I deserve versus what God knows I deserve, and absorbing that and finding that balance. And upper limit syndrome will actually strike you. It'll be that moment where you're like, nothing is wrong. Everything is fine. I'm getting everything I thought I deserve and everything that I should have. And yet here I am feeling like I can't move, So as I've been growing in each chapter, from the TV show to, building out things with the family, all of those things, I've really had to remind myself that this is a thing that actually exists, and my mind can lie to me. And I just have to constantly remind it of the truth and surround people who will also, with myself, with people who will do the same.
Yes, so important.
Mm-hmm.
If you are just tuning in, you are watching the Happy Hour Show with Lindsey Vertner and my guest, Nicole Walters, CEO of Now Business Strategist. She is giving us all the juice. Man, and that is such a real thing. I feel like it's a common theme that's going on because on the one end, you have the people that are struggling during COVID, but on the other
Mm-hmm.
end, you have all these people that are flourishing and
Oh
growing
yeah.
during COVID. And I think that goes back to our mindset and the things that we decide to focus on. Are you focusing on the negatives or are you
Mm-hmm.
focusing on the positives?
Mm-hmm.
And so then you have these people where these good things are happening and they're having trouble like dealing with it
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
accepting it like, oh.
Yeah, I think that one of the exercises that I do, and thank you guys for everyone who popped on and has sweet things to say. I think one of the things that I have been doing as an exercise is something called neutralizing, right? And recognizing that so many things that happen in life, we like to assign an emotional response to them when really they're just neutral. It just,
Yes.
you might have heard your parents say it is what it is and kind of thought like, oh, it's just a phrase. But no, things really are just what they are, and how we
Mhm.
respond to them, how we let them impact us, how, your feelings are valid, but they don't necessarily have to be facts that dictate your life and your responses. So, really, the best thing that I've been able to do is trying to neutralize my responses to things that happen so that way I'm able to make decisions from a clear place and not from emotional trauma. So, like, if for some reason something happens, like, I'm getting ready to do a launch and like a website doesn't work, right? Okay, my feeling is I'm so upset about this. Like, why wouldn't this happen? Why, but all those feelings, they don't change the fact that the situation still is what it is and it still needs fixed and it still needs rectified. If anything, they delay my ability to do that effectively,
Mhm.
and they delay the efficiency that I have in responding to the problem. So, really neutralizing and saying, look, like, what can I actually do about this? How much of this is in my control? Even if I feel like someone did this to me or someone let the ball down or somebody didn't do what they're supposed to do, at the end of the day, how does that impact my response to this situation? And then once you kind of get to that point, things are kind of neutral. So, like COVID
Mhm.
is a horrible, terrible, awful thing that is impacting people in crazy ways. But one thing that I did to neutralize, the situation of COVID is that I remembered that, look, COVID isn't something that we never thought could happen. We just never thought about it, right? It's just we never thought about it. And then the neutralization of it is, look, whether it's COVID or something else, all this is doing is putting a spotlight on where the holes already existed.
Yep.
So our opportunity now is to say, okay, what can we do to fill those holes so that we're tougher and more resilient for the next thing? Because there will be a next thing. There's always a thing, and once you acknowledge that that's what life looks like, you're able to stay on the platform instead of going on the roller coaster. So the goal is stay on the platform, stay neutral.
Yes. And if you missed it, in other words, you can create logical solutions from
Mhm.
emotional places.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, yes.
Give yourself 5 minutes to cry, then build a bridge
Mhm.
and get over it so you can
Yes.
figure out, okay, how am I going to solve this problem?
Absolutely. So good.
Over here in the comments, Tanya says, yes, never heard of it explained this way. PTSD of poverty is real. But one
Mhm.
thing I know for sure, if you can make it out of poverty, you can make it out of this pandemic.
So
Yes,
good. Yes, so good.
won't be easy. Nothing worth having ever is. Chin up, strap on those bootstraps, and get out there.
So good. Yes, preach, Tanya.
Yes, Keisha says our response is everything.
Everything.
That's it. There's always something. And I think
Mhm.
sometimes that can be where people get held up because they feel like
Yes.
if I make this decision once, then I'm set
Like
for the
I always hear that all the time. You probably hear it too, Lindsay, from your people is there's always something. Like I'm finally getting started and there's always something. And it's
yes,
like, yeah, that's called life. Life is going to keep happening. Like the only time there isn't something is if you're 6 feet under. You know what I mean?
right.
Like I want to stay in the game and play the game. You know what I mean? Like, do you really want to have, the Super Bowl trophy if you were on a field without any opponents? Like, no, you want to win that trophy because you beat something, right? And it
Right.
doesn't make the win any less sweet. If anything, it makes it sweeter. So life is filled with some things. And what happens is when you're off the field, are you working out? Are you prepping yourself? Are you getting ready? Are you training? Are you building up a mindset? Are you doing your research? Because no matter what, game day is coming. And when game day comes, you will meet opponents. And when you finally win and get that trophy, it's because you beat them. Do you know what I mean? So that's what it looks like. You know, are you going to play the game or are you going to sit on the bench? And it's up to you where you want to be.
Yes, yes. Did y'all catch that? If you didn't, go back and watch the replay, okay?
Yes.
Share it out with your friends. Let us know you're here. Post your questions in the comments because Miss Nicole is going to be able to answer those in just a moment. And I think it's also important to remind the viewers that you have to set the intention and then do the work each and every day. So for those that don't know, in 2007, I was in a fatal car wreck where I was pronounced brain dead and paralyzed. I wasn't expected to make it through the night nor the next day. And people were like, Lindsey, how can you be so happy? I would be depressed during this moment. And they were just so shocked by my demeanor. But one, I'm a firm believer of God did what he could do. I did what they could do. But then it was up to me. And I had to be intentional each and every day to create the life that I wanted to live.
Yes.
And I had to put action behind it.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that intentionality is everything. And I look at what God delivered you from. You know, people forget, they think that God is bringing blessings in the form that you want every single day. It may not look like the way that you want it to look, you know? So like, I'll have people who will say, I've been praying for God to relieve me of these bills and no money is showing up. And so do you know that that money was showing up in the form of a mentor who was going to teach you how to get that money? You know, like, so the same thing applies, you know, when Lindsey had to overcome everything. I'm sure you had physical therapy. I'm sure you had rehab. I'm sure you had all these things. So if you rejected the tools that God brought to you, you were also rejecting the healing that he had for you. So it's the type of thing that I think that oftentimes we are so intent on seeing the blessings and the opportunities come in a way that is our language, when you have to understand that, no, you need to look around. And all I ever pray for is, God, please let me see the blessings you have. Like, I'm not praying in specificity for a specific, like, bring me this amount of money. No, Lord, however you want to bring whatever it is I need, you know, just give me the eyes to see the thing you need me to see so I can apply it, you know? And I think that's the best we can do, is get really good at seeing solutions and knowing that we can apply them. Because just like you said, making decisions with intentionality, where do you want to go, is everything. It kills me when I talk to business owners and I'm like, well, how did you get there? How'd you make that decision? And they're like, well, I don't know. It just it was just what everyone else was doing, or it just seemed. And I'm like, you want everyone else's life, or do you want your life? You know what I mean? Like, what are you really doing? Where's the intentionality? So no, that's an amazing story, but I'm not surprised at all, you know, because you get it. You know what I mean? You get it. Amazing.
Thank you. Yes. What would you say is one of your favorite affirmations to use?
So I think that my biggest affirmation is actually not that fancy pants. So like, people always have, like, some people have beautiful affirmations. I'm so capable. I'm so this, you know, all that. You know, my affirmation is like, you're capable. You can do this. You woke up worthy. You know, like, and waking up worthy means that whether I open my eyes that morning or I go to sleep, whatever I do in between that doesn't change my sense of worth. You know, and I think too often we ascribe our worth to our accomplishments, or we ascribe our worth to our history and our past, and that can work to your advantage or not to your advantage. You know what I mean? So you have to be very careful about that, because you would never look at one of your children who we know just eats up your food, doesn't pay a single bill, drives you absolutely crazy. You would never look at one of your kids and be like, oh, but you're not worthy because you haven't accomplished anything today. Like, that's not, you would never say that. So why would you say it to yourself? Why would you say, I'm only measured by the things that I do? My value exists in who loves me externally and what other things that I've accomplished. That's not the case. So my affirmation is, you know, based on that, you're capable, meaning there's nothing I can't do. All I need are tools and resources. And then outside of that, I'm worthy. I woke up that way. You know what I mean? Like, and that is, helps me dictate and remain neutral as I encounter things throughout the day.
Yes, yes, yes. I love that. And I know our viewers are loving it as well. Jay Magic says, God is good. Tanya says, God knew you had a voice,
That's
Lindsey.
right.
You, your future days, and more. Thank you.
Mhm.
Latasha says, Lord, give me the eyes to see. And Miss Quinn,
Yes.
Nicole is amazing. I love everything
Oh, hey,
about her.
Quinn.
She is my energy twin.
Oh, hey, Quinn.
Yes, thank you, ladies, for tuning in. And it's just so important that we are intentional and we get up and we set that intention all over again. We set that intention all throughout the day. You wake up and you say, all right, I'm going to have an amazing day.
Yes.
That intention. And then when you notice that your day is starting to not go amazing, you remind yourself of your intention and you act accordingly and
Yep.
execute as you need to.
Absolutely.
So important. I love your affirmation. Viewers at home, are you catching all of this goodness? Go back and watch the replay. If you missed it, comment down below, post your questions right now, and share this out. Jay says, I love Nicole. I always watch her videos, her energy.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Jay. You're amazing. Thank you.
Latasha says, I'm capable. I work up worthy.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
What would you say to those individuals that are watching right now that, you know, even though we're saying these things and they hear these things, they're still having a little bit of trouble believing that they are worthy?
Yeah, so it's tough. I think that the belief of it does come with regularly reminding yourself, right? Because if you think about it, kids are imprints, right? Kids are blank canvases, and literally we're imprinting on them whatever it is we say to them, right? And they believe it. So, like, you couldn't even tell my kids that they're not worthy because I have spent my whole life like imprinting on them. Oh, yeah, you're worthy. So when someone goes out there and treats them like less than their worth, they're baffled. They're like, do you not know who I am? And they won't stand for it. You know what I mean? They won't stand for it. So understand that the same thing applies to you. You absolutely can imprint on yourself, you know, everything that you are and what you're worth. So whenever you hear something negative about who you are, just remember, where did you hear that for the first time? Because there's no such thing as an original thought, right? You did not wake up. Like, if you tried to tell a 6-year-old that they're not Superman and they're running around with that bed sheet on their back, you know for a fact that they're like, I'm Superman, and you will refer to me as such for an entire week. And like, that is truly who they believe they are. So I'm telling you right now that 100% for you, whenever you're hearing negative thoughts, whenever you're believing something about yourself that just doesn't seem to align, right? The heart and the mind aren't matching up. You have to ask yourself, who told me that? Like, who told me that? Because you didn't own that. Right. So who told me that? So if I'm saying to myself, man, I'm just a terrible speaker, based on what? Like, you have a mouth and there are people out there who are able to speak. So why are you a terrible speaker? Like, based on who, where was the first time you heard that? Because it's not an original thought. You didn't wake up thinking that about yourself. It came from somewhere. So if you recognize that the thought came from somewhere, just like you can imprint yourself with positive thoughts, you can also remove negative thoughts. You can reject them. You can say, I do not receive this. This doesn't belong to me, you know, and you can absolutely let that go. Now, it takes time. Stop thinking it's going to happen overnight. You know what I mean? But if you do the work, you will get the results.
Yes, do the work and you will get the results.
Yes.
Major key right there.
Right, do the work.
Yes, if you're wondering, like, I'm thinking all these good things, but it's not happening. Well, ask yourself, did you do the work?
Yes, yes, yes. And it's also happening little by little. You may not realize it, but it is happening little by little. Your brain is getting hardwired and it takes some time, but it does happen.
And it's so important. And you know, track where you started from to where you are now, because a lot of times we don't give ourselves enough credit for how much we have accomplished, how many things we have overcame in our life.
Yes.
So take a look back and say, you know what? I am the shit. I did.
Yes, I did do it. I hit those marks. I'm capable. You know what I mean? Like, and oftentimes we forget, you know, like we really do. And the truth is, you wouldn't be where you are today, especially, and I know a lot of the people who are listening now, you literally, no one helped you. You know what I mean? Like, no one helped you. You might have had a person here or there kind of look out for you or kind of point and say, go that way. But for the most part, a lot of us, especially as Black women, like, we had to, like, not just carve out a way, we had to blast away in order to make it happen for us, you know? And whenever those really hard moments occurred, those quiet moments by ourselves where we had to pick ourselves up, it was between us and God. You know what I mean? And if you know that that's the truth, that means everything you need to move forward is actually inside you already. You know what I mean? You don't need someone else to save you. You can save yourself. Go for it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You can yourself if
Yes.
you choose to. You
If
got
you
to make
choose
the
to.
choice to do it, right?
Yes.
I think that this would be an awesome time because I see the questions rolling in. And if you're just tuning in, you're watching the Happy Hour show with Lindsey Vertner and my guest, Nicole Walters. Post your questions down below. Now, listen, we're going to get to as many as we can. But if you didn't post it ahead of time, next time you know better, okay?
Yes.
So it's that time for the show where we
30-second hot shot. Answer the question in 30 seconds or less, or take your shot.
play 30-second hot shot.
All right, let's go.
Yes. So if you've never watched the show before, this is the part of the show where Nicole is going to answer your questions in 30 seconds or less, or she's got to take a shot of her crystal light. Yes.
I know I'm a mom. I'm like, we're trying to take a shot of her water. Like
a shot of air.
no.
So let me pull up my timer. Set it on 30 seconds, please. All right. So I'm going to read the question and I'm going to start the timer after I read the question, and then you'll have 30 seconds to answer. You game?
All right, here we go.
Okay, so here comes the first question. Nicole, did you have a mentor that helped you with your business strategy? By Latasha. Go.
So yes, obviously I had mentors, and I think that's the part that a lot of us forget is that business is complex. So you do need a core business strategist, someone who can look over from a 30,000-foot view the general business plan and hold the vision, right? And that person works side by side with you. But then I think a lot of times we forget that we need specialists. So, your business strategist should not also be your marketer. Your business strategist should also not be your Facebook ads guru. They shouldn't be your social media person. You want an expert in each of those fields. So I am a 30 seconds. Ah! It goes so fast. Oh my gosh. Oh.
Shut.
So yes, I did have one, and you should get one too. Wow, I'm thinking I got another 10 seconds.
Well, now you know. And in case you missed it, she said mentors with an S.
Plural.
Okay? You need one for different areas, all right? So let's restart the time.
Oh, you also need a therapist. I didn't throw that out there. You need a therapist. Yes. On top of everything else, you need
That's
one.
always good because it's important that we heal our traumas and experiences.
Absolutely.
So that we control how they show up in our lives, not the other way around.
Yes.
So Araya says, I'm 23 and looking for positive friends. What advice would you give for young women looking for God-fearing friends who are kind and only want the best for each other? Any tools or ways to stay away from negative people, even when you want to share your story and help them? Go.
So the first thing you need to do is get really clear on what it is you're looking for. So I have my kids doing this, and I have even my assistant Eddie doing it. Write down what you're looking for. So are you looking for people with these attributes? And set boundaries. What is a friendship going to entail for you? If you get clear on this for yourself first, it becomes a lot easier to determine if these people fit into your life. And then put yourself into spaces where they exist. So you can go to gyms, community centers, you name it. You're going to have to pitch yourself, but it is possible. And the internet works too. I think that Zoom relationships are even more legitimate.
Oh, was right on the dot. Yeah. Yes. Awesome. So let's restart it. And here is our last question. So this question came through the inbox, and the question is, how did you come from poverty? Which I think we kind of already talked about.
Yeah, I think we covered it. Tanya has a good one. Yeah.
Go back and watch the replay.
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest a piece of advice that you can give to those who didn't have supportive parents, so to speak, as in they didn't have somebody to push them to do hard work? And I'm paraphrasing the question, I believe, but that's what I think they mean. Yeah. They didn't have somebody in their life to push them to do the hard work and to strive for greatness. What advice would you give to that person?
So I would say be bold. So the first thing you need to do is, who is the person you want to be your mentor? Ask them. And then keep asking them. And if they say, hey, I can't be your mentor, but this is what I need you to do to start with, take that advice, apply it, come back and say, I did the work. Now what? Keep doing that, because recognize that parents come in a lot of different forms. It's why I have a community of internet aunties helping me raise these kids. It takes a village. So you don't need the support to just come from the people that you think it needs to come from. If you have 150 people out there who are cheering you on and pointing the way, that is enough. Go for it.
That was awesome. Right on the buzzer. Yes, yes. And if you didn't get your question answered, I'm sorry. You should have submitted it earlier.
I love it. No, it's so fun.
Over here in the comments, Uriah says, all my friends tell me they want a friend like me who supports them and loves them because they never had love. But I do not get the same in return from them. And sometimes I feel like God wants me to help them, but I want to be happy as well. Can I just say, I'm sure Nicole has lots to say, but definitely go back and watch my self-care series. I just did a live yesterday and we talked about boundaries and toxic people, because it's very important. And Nicole mentioned this earlier in the show, that we have to protect our space. They're either draining you or filling you up, or it's an equal exchange. So, you know, you gotta let
you nailed that one, Lindsey. Like, I mean, I read that, and the first thing I think to myself is, you are not a replacement of love. It's a mutual thing, right? So like, when two people that are already 100% come together, that's where a healthy relationship exists. And it sounds like they're asking you to like support, fill, and be a gap for them, because they never had love, and they need to love themselves sufficiently so they're not reliant on you for that, you know. And the same thing applies to you, you know. So yeah, no, that's good advice. I definitely should check out that self-care series for sure.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And so I want to thank our guest, Miss Nicole Walters, for tuning in on the Happy Hour show. I want to be mindful and respectful of her time.
Oh, thank you.
Her boundaries. So one more question that I have to ask all of my guests to end the show. I am all about happiness and creating a first-class life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. So I have to ask you, how do you intentionally create happiness in your life?
I say no. I say it often. I say it full chested. I say it and I let it go when I'm done. I breathe it in and out, and I say no, no, no. And that is how I create happiness in my life. No is the brick with which my boundaries are built. And being able to say no and feel comfortable and confident in my no's allows me to protect the happiness that already exists organically within me, and foster the happiness that I'm seeking out to grow and build. So use your no. It is your right, and it is something that you are capable of using, and you have a right to use. So use it.
Yes, I love it. I love it. We are spirit sisters, and I will gladly adopt your daughters and make them my spirit nieces. Okay?
Take these babies. Take these babies.
Hey, nieces, me, Auntie Lindsey. I'm here for you.
Yes. Oh my gosh, come get them.
Thank you again for coming on the show. I know that you have a gift for our viewers, and it is all for you. So no charges for this course.
I do not do free.
You are getting it for free as a bonus for being a viewer of the show and for tuning in. So tell them about your Fierce Clarity course, and you'll use the code Do the Work to get it for complimentary.
Yes, complimentary, courtesy, gratis. Yes, if you go to myfierceclarity.com, this tool can help you land your best business ideas. So if there's any part of you that has said, I don't know if I'm capable of building a business, I don't know if, you know, my ideas are good enough, this really helps you unpack that internal narrative. It helps you unpack anything that you're struggling with, and build the foundation for your next great idea.
Awesome. So make sure you share lots of thanks and lots of love with Nicole, because as she just said, she charges for this course, but you are getting it courtesy of her amazingness, okay? So thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Happy Hour show. Latasha said she's working on her no. Keisha, the strong no is a gift. Yes. Thank you all for tuning in, ladies. They are thanking you. They are loving you.
Thank you guys so much.
If you want to stay updated on future episodes of the Happy Hour, make sure you go to bit.ly/happy updates. You see it scrolling down there at the bottom of the screen. Tune in later on this evening at 9 p.m. Eastern as we are back with a regularly scheduled show with my next guest, Ms. Chantel Sumis. And make sure you follow my lovely guest, Nicole Walters. Here is her information again. Follow her, sign up for her programs, enjoy the happiness and energy that she puts out there. This is where it starts. Be mindful of your space, okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, my name is Lindsey Vertner, your peak potential strategist, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Bye.
Bye, guys.